Girls have been doing better than boys at all levels of education for a long time now, and the gap is widening, and a lot of men seem to think that the reason for this is that K through 12 is somehow biased against boys. And there are some studies that show some teachers in some schools being biased in grading in some areas, but we have a pretty robust bulk of evidence that indicates that it's extremely unlikely that a bias toward girls in schools is why girls do better. One reason we know this is because boys actually perform better in schools that have more girls and more feminine instruction on things like art and music. We know that globally, girls do better than boys in school. Like, as soon as girls are able to go to school, they start doing better, even in schools that have single-sex instruction. So that would eliminate that anti-male bias factor. And we also have a lot of evidence that what actually drives the gap is what happens at home. The gap is pretty much only among the bottom half of students. So in the top half of academic performance, which also heavily correlates with like family income and the education level of the parents, boys and girls perform about the same. In the bottom half, there's a huge difference. And part of the reason for that is that boys are just more delicate than girls are a lot more resilient. So when boys have family adversity, it heavily negatively impacts their academic achievement. That's not really true for girls. Other things also have an impact on how this works. One of the biggest things is that we have coded academic achievement as a feminine trait, and boys will do a whole lot to avoid performing femininity. And this is especially true, again, in the bottom half. Boys and men tend to be more sexist, hew more strongly to masculinity norms, feel their masculinity is more threatened, and do more to shore it up. So yeah, a bias against boys is not why they're doing worse in K through 12, which I think is good to know.